As we all know, Akash was in Joe Rogan's podcast. I like Akash, so I was watching it. And I was cooking dinner, just like, and
Having
then,
it on just in the background.
yeah. And I had it on the TV actually, because you can see the video,
Yeah.
like our podcast.
Yeah.
And then I could look up, I see them, and then my wife comes home, and then she's like, we're like talking, whatever, blah blah blah, and I like pause the podcast, and then she like looks, and she's like, "Are you watching Joe Rogan?" And I was like, "Yeah, like I like Akash, he's a comedian," and she was like, "Isn't he racist?"
It's so wild. Okay, let's. So the isn't he racist? Continue.
And then I was like, I don't think he's racist, but I know that he did get in trouble because of like XYZ. And then, but I was like, but looking back on it, his apology like made sense. Like he's trying to like move on from it, so I can respect that. And she's like, "Are you defending him?" And I was like, "No, I'm not defending the fact that he did that, but I'm saying like." You can move on from like things, like where's the redemption arc?
Part of me thinks like, and I know this may be a bad place to say it considering everything he's been through, but it's like, if Dave Chappelle defends you, then I think you straight.
Yeah.
But also like Israel Adesanya ended his press conference. He started talking about Joe Rogan and about how great of a guy. He's like, I've been in this fight game since 2008. He's like, this game is full of snakes. And people are going to try to take advantage of you. And Joe Rogan's the nicest person I've ever met. And he ended it with saying, "That's my N-word, Joe Rogan." No, you my N-word, Joe Rogan. he ended it with that. So I was like, all right, Izzy gave him the pass. Everyone's kind of seeming to give him that pass. But it's just funny that like you over here just defending Rogan like that. That's
but it's
despicable.
Also like weird ass allegations. I've realized how like things get twisted in the media. Because she was like, well, didn't he say that like white people were smarter than black people? And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, that's what I heard. And I was like, I don't think that's what he said.
Well, here's what they did: is they did a super cut, and it's by a political group who this is a political hit job.
Right. They like hired somebody to like
and then
listen to every episode.
What people have been doing now is they've been circulating this video of the other side, right? Of like everyone who's saying that stuff, and then they've been super cutting all of the all of the super democratic things that he said. Where he's like, I'm a supporter of universal basic income. I'm actually a big supporter of universal health care. Like he starts saying all these things that you're like, whoa, dog, you kind of a liberal cuck, dog. Like you kind of gay, you know what I'm saying? So people have been like spinning that one around, being like the joke is like, can you believe him acting like he's got these Republican views when he's, you know what I mean? So like they're trying to flip it to be like, look, you can super cut him into anything you want him to be.
Super cut us into anything.
Yeah, and we're not even that wild, you know what I mean? So it's like you can literally do that to wherever, but it's because of the institution. You know what I'm saying? But speaking of the institution, let's get started, dog. Let's get started. We're getting a little wild right now. The institution's finna cut us off.
Facts.
Two, one.
Welcome to Two and a Half Citizens Podcast.
I'm Zen.
Welcome to my ASMR.
Dog, why are we ASMR?
It's because I was eating, and that's what ASMR videos are.
All right, that was gross.
Right,
I'm sure.
I apologize to the people that are just listening to us and not watching us on video. I was eating earlier.
By the way, I've been temporarily stopping that whole video on Spotify thing. 2 reasons. Number 1, our ad doesn't play before if I have the video. 2, I want to drive people to go to the YouTube. If you want to see the video,
that's true.
We're on the YouTube. Go to the YouTube. We'll eventually throw it back up on Spotify, but for the meantime, I'm trying to get y'all to go over the YouTube channel.
It's because of our main sponsor, Anchor.
Yeah, so I gotta, speaking of the establishment, not that we establishment or anything, but I just got off the phone with Anchor, and I need y'all to go to YouTube if y'all want to see the video.
Yeah.
So drop the Anchor.
Because, again, we're not Joe Rogan.
Yeah, y'all won't just follow us wherever. You know what I'm saying?
If we're going to get into our boy Joe Rogan.
So let's start with that. So here's what I liked about Akash, we talked about it last time. He dropped that special, and it's been going crazy.
An amazing special.
It's been going crazy because now before you had seen the trailer and the idea of it, but you hadn't fully seen.
Yeah, and I was excited too because of like this interesting stance that he's taking.
Yeah.
For brown people living in the States, where he's like, "Yo, we were never oppressed. Our families chose to come here. Shut the fuck up."
Yeah, because now we're kind of dividing ourselves as a country, and we're not really able to be like strong because of it, because we're all just at each other's throats.
Yeah.
So it's just making us fall. But when I see him on Rogan, and the first thing that I saw, like, okay, my mom doesn't listen to a single thing I tell her until TMZ says it. So like, I'll tell her something like 3 days ago, and then she'll be like, I don't know. And then after that, in 2 days or so, she'll be like, yo, remember when you were saying that? TMZ was just saying. I'm like, I told you that like before. Yeah. But I don't know until TMZ says it, okay? It's all speculation when you say it until...
It's all allegedly.
It's until TMZ comes and confirms it.
Yeah.
So it's like, unless TMZ says it didn't happen. I'm like, okay. So then she said, hold on. Joe Rogan's about to come on. They're going to have Joe Rogan say something. And I'm like, what? Why the fuck would Joe Rogan go to TMZ and pull like a Kanye and start like, talking there? I'm like, that doesn't seem right. But she's like, hold on, I'm going to put you on speaker and raise it. And then they're talking about something, and then they just cut to the Akash clip. They just cut to a clip of him and Akash. So I'm like, this is good for him. This is a good clip for him because right now, like, Akash is like the first person he's like been talking to since all the craziness.
Yeah, because
like,
I love how they started that episode.
He's
where
like, how are you doing? But he's like, how are you doing?
Yeah.
So you hear that and you're like, okay, now Akash is being looked at to like, it's crazy where it's almost in Akash's hands to have asked the questions that the public wants to know. Yeah. Because now they're basically clipping this interview and using it as Joe Rogan responds to backlash. Like, that's what TMZ basically said.
And, like, I did kind of like that, like, Joe Rogan was like, I feel liberated because I've been wanting to, like, address this, and now it's out, and, like, now I can actually, like, move forward from it. Because it's, like, one of those things where it's, like, what are you going to do, cancel yourself? Like,
yeah. So it's funny because you see him, like, they're like, how are you handling all this? And you see him on Instagram, and he's literally just, like, eating steak and taking mushrooms. He's kind of just like, I'm just doing me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just vibing out here.
Yeah.
But he's been having to respond to a lot of stuff, and so the great and the powerful, our great powerful leader, Donald Trump, he came out and said...
No.
I'm wild. He came out and told Joe Rogan, stop apologizing, dog. Like, he straight up said, yo.
Why are they trying to make Joe Rogan the new Donald Trump?
Because Donald Trump ain't around to be Donald Trump. He was the one that was like, Donald Trump could make any headline. He could say whatever he wanted and take the media by storm, and then everybody has to report on it because everyone's going to watch. Yeah. So you could be like, yo, fuck this guy, but you need his attention. So you need to talk about him so that other people can also be like, hey, yeah, I want to go read fuck that guy too. Yeah. So now...
And then the other side's like, I want to read, no, don't F that guy. Like, I like that guy.
So that's Rogan now. He has 11 million people who are going every week that are listening.
But Rogan's not strictly right.
No, but the thing about it is, it's like the Travis Scott thing. When you post something about him, you're going to get half the people who are like, yo, fuck him, and look at it to be like, yeah, that guy deserves this. And the other people to be like, yo, why are they doing my boy like this? Yeah. So you literally have everybody's eyes because you're attacking someone.
I feel like people treat Rogan now like the way they treat like Alex Jones.
Well, they put him in the same thing. Like Akash talks about that too, where it's like...
I don't think they're in the same...
They're not, but when you see them together, you see them like, oh, he supports him, so he must support those ideas, and he's giving him a platform. Yeah.
And it's just annoying that they just like make you radioactive.
But it's also, the weird thing too is like, okay, Flagrant is legitimately a comedy podcast. Yeah. I wouldn't consider Joe Rogan's a comedy podcast. He's a comedian, but his podcast isn't a comedy podcast. It's more like... He's talking to people. Yeah. He's not making jokes the whole time.
Yeah, he brings in experts.
If he brings in a comedian, the comedian's making jokes. Yeah. But Joe's not really making jokes. So, like, that's where I guess the problem falls with him. Because, like, when Flagrant put Alex Jones on, they did everything that... Because the first time they put Alex Jones on, they got their video taken down. Yeah. Not only did they get their video taken down, they forgot to back it up into their server. Oh, no So way. When it got deleted off YouTube, that was their server for the time. It was just done. It was gone. So, because they were like, maybe we should put it on Patreon. Maybe we should NFT it.
Yeah.
But it was like, we don't have that video anymore. So if one of y'all grab that hoe, send it to us. But if not, we don't got it anymore.
Yeah.
And then they did the second one, and they went through all of the precautions. Put that everything was satire. Put that not believe anything. Put like every disclosure.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Complex used to do for Everyday Struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Put it all the time. Put up all these things to let them know we're not telling you anything educational. We're not trying to like be informative. This is all satire.
Same thing with this podcast.
Yeah. And they got to keep that video up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's crazy. Like Alex Jones is banned from the platform, but like with all these rules, like Flagrant kind of believes you can make it work. You know what I mean? You can actually still do it out there.
Yeah. Which I mean, and they do make a good point, like Andrew does, where he's like, yo, I didn't create the platform, so I'm down to play by your rules.
Yeah.
Because he's like, if I created the platform, then that's different. But everyone's complaining about it, like, oh, you can't do blah, blah, blah. It's their platform.
Yeah.
You're
using it. So you just got to play by the rules and figure out how to make it work for you.
Yeah.
And so, like, it was interesting because, like, I've been really starting to root for Akash lately because, like, I see the come up. You know what I mean? Like, I saw him whenever, like, he did the special. I'm seeing where it's going now. I'm seeing the political, like, pundits and all the politicians, like, start commenting on it because it's jokes, but it also has that underlying truth for certain people that people are like, hey, dog.
Yo, was that true? I saw a picture that, like, Ted Cruz, like...
Yeah, but here's what he did. So the Ted Cruz one is interesting because he made his position very vague. Mm-hmm. All he did was put, like, the think about it emoji.
Yeah.
But...
on the bring back Apu thing.
Yeah, on that trailer, he, like, quote tweeted it with, like, the thinking emoji. Mm-hmm. So where people were, like... It looked at first like if he was disagreeing because it was just that emoji.
Yeah.
But then people were like, nah, I think it means that he does agree. And he's actually saying, think about it. If you really look at it, it's true. But he made it so vague that it should made everybody talk.
Yeah.
So they didn't know if, like, Ted Cruz was attacking it or not.
Why does Ted Cruz want to be Trump so bad?
But Akash has always attacked Ted Cruz.
Yeah,
so that's
Ted
why
Cruz.
if he knew, like, in his mind, he was like, oh, shit, Ted Cruz might have seen that I've been attacking this guy.
Yeah.
And now he's attacking me back. But it seems like he supported it. And as I'm looking through the things, and apparently by what Akash says, Ted Cruz is the type to, like, do that and then see what everyone is saying and then hop on it based on what everyone's saying.
Who has, like, the bigger side?
Yeah, like who
seems stronger?
Yeah. Who will he support?
Yeah.
Those two sides. So that's kind of what he's doing.
I thought it was more in the lens of, like, because now, like, since everything's so, like, black and white, if you start questioning things, like, I bet there's people that, bro, I'm pretty sure there's people that could listen to this podcast and be like, bro, those two guys, I know they say they're Mexican, but they don't act like it.
For sure.
You know, and, like, so I think, like, the way I thought about it, I was like, oh, man, is Ted Cruz trying to be like, yo, Akash on our side? Like, he a right-winger, bro. Like,
that's what he was, saying, like, when everybody was woke, when everybody was, like, super wild, he was, like, woke because it's kind of like the counter, right? It's like
right. It's the counter culture thing.
So the loudest voice in the room and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of seeming like what's happening now. Like, when everyone was being super wild is when I felt my wokest.
Yeah.
And now that everybody kind of seems to be following on that train to where it's just, like, sheep-like and no one actually has a mind for their own, now it's kind of like, well, let's think openly now. And it's kind of making the pendulum swing back and forth. And I think the best place
you talk about me switching up and how, like, oh, the first time you came over here, we talked about, like, all these things, and we never put that episode out. On that same episode, you said, bro, we should just kill all the white people, and then the world would be a better place.
Was I on my woke shit?
Yeah, you were.
Bro, I did say that, dog.
Yeah.
I just said all the old whites got to die out, and then we'll be all good.
Yeah, and I
still believe that.
I said, I don't think that's the fix.
I still believe that. Every time I see Mitch McConnell on the TV, I'm like, bro, you look disgusting.
I have no idea who that is.
Why are you still on my TV?
I have no idea.
You know who he is. He's the one that fucking looks disgusting. He's the one that has those ugly ass hands.
Oh, yeah. That looks like a Star Wars character. Yeah. I know who he is.
Every single time I see this motherfucker, I'm like,
I hate that dude.
Get the fuck off my screen. No one wants to hear you fucking talk.
Yep.
Stop.
Yep.
So, like, this guy just been getting on my fucking nerves. I'm like, dude, I don't want to see you. You look like a Muppet. You look like a disintegrating Muppet.
Yep.
So, I mean, notice now, I don't know if it's because you've been switching up, or if we just left the whole thing altogether. But I ain't been sprayed or shot in multiple episodes. I ain't said nothing that's so outlandish that you feel like you got to address it in many an episode. So I don't know if I refined myself or if your tolerance got crazier, dog.
I think both of those things are happening. That you've calmed down, and I've also
Started
wilding myself. But
maybe I've calmed down because you started wilding, because I always end up just going the opposite. Like I've noticed sometimes without even thinking about it. Yeah. So I'm like, hold on, Pablo, you wilding. Yeah. And then I gotta say something else. Yeah. But I mean, that's
what did I say to Seth when we were on the phone? It was pretty funny.
What did you tell him? I don't even know.
Oh, because you were saying how like he really be acting like you got more privilege.
Oh yeah.
And then I was like, low key, I mean, I think so.
Yeah.
And like, here's the thing, and I think this is kind of like to Akash's point, is that if you make it in this country, even though you had some sort of oppression when you're brown, I mean, you can kind of just pick a side. Well, when you have enough money.
That's what I was going to actually ask you in the beginning of this episode. Are you going to go red or blue once you've like officially, you know what I mean, been ordained citizen?
Oh, Vara told me if I was going to go red, she's not making me a citizen.
Don't tell her. You don't. Here's the thing, dog. When you in that booth, it's just you and the screen, dog.
It's just me and God.
It's just you and God, dog. When you in that booth, no one looking over your shoulder, dog.
No, I told her, I was like, no, I'm pretty apolitical. I probably wouldn't even vote.
Damn, dog. I've been voting, and maybe for the wrong side, but I've been voting only because I want to complain.
I'll go third party.
Kanye?
I like writing Kanye or something.
Green Party or something?
No, I think Elvira she'd probably prefer me like writing something Republican than doing something stupid like that.
Like Kanye?
Yeah. She'd be like, what the frig? You did not wait like 20-something years and then writing Kanye as your first ballot.
Yo, I respect it. I think we really do need to get Kanye over here. He's the only one who's openly speaking out about like...
It's funny that they also try to make Kanye the new Trump.
Kind of, but he does it to himself. He knows he's doing that controlling my narrative thing where like he doesn't do the press thing. He runs the press now. So like he tells the paparazzis what to take picture of. He sets it all out. He releases these things. He does this. So it's like he's running the news now. Yeah,
bro. And he was saying about like he's like, I hate all these jokes about like how I'm not taking my meds. He's like, y'all.
He responded to some random little kid.
Yeah.
Who was like. But
wait, bro, the funniest one was like, why do all my messages come in this language? When I saw that, I was like, what?
But let's get into a few other things here. Since
Yo, let's pivot a little bit. We're kind of wilding on. Have you been watching the Winter Olympics?
No, only reason I haven't been watching the Winter Olympics is because they're 100% fake snow.
Yeah, that's wild. I know. I heard about that. That's so crazy. And also, I have a beef with the Winter Olympics. And here's my beef with the Winter Olympics. Can you truly be the best in the world when it takes so much money to even participate in half of these sports?
It's like F1.
Yeah, F1 is like that too, but F1 is cool.
Because it's like that whole thing where it's like in order for you to have even gotten into this, the barrier of entry is so high. You would have had to have been doing this stuff since you were super young.
Like your parents have to have been like making a lot of money for you to be doing this when you were super young.
Is this her name?
Yes.
Eileen Gu?
Yeah. But before we get into Eileen,
so quickly, there's been a lot of stuff. I don't know what's going on, and I don't really know if the Olympics have anything to do with the way that like we like our pride and stuff. But basically, Shaun White, the only Winter Olympics person I know by name, like
shout out Shaun White, bro.
His final Olympics and did not get the gold, dog.
Shout out Shaun White.
Did not medal up, dog.
I thought he did medal up.
I don't believe he medaled up.
No, he medaled up.
Bro, I'm pretty sure.
Bro, I'm pretty sure he medaled up.
Here, we're going to talk about it.
Is he American? Please tell me he's American.
Yeah, he's American. Ends his Olympic career with 4th place finish.
Dog, how you gonna go out of 4th? So since we out here tweaking.
All right, well, hold on. Since we were talking earlier about how I was switching up, and I was basically saying that all the old whites got to die.
Yep.
It's always been this thing where, like, I don't even know how they feel about us minorities. We kind of build the country up, but it's like we got to keep them controlled. We got to make sure we kind of like still have, that they were putting crack out in the streets.
Yeah.
They were doing all these things that are kind of like messing up our communities and stuff. But when that's like the difference between an AstroTurf movement and like a grassroots movement is like, the authenticity, like, things naturally happening, taking their course, or when someone goes and tries to make it look like it was natural, but they got something to do with it. And I think we're actually, I'm seeing some reality now, and seeing the grassroots movement of crack amongst the whites.
Right.
Like the government didn't really have to do anything about that when they managed to find it on their own.
Well, is it because, it's always that, like, if black people do it first, then it's cool. Then everybody else follows.
Cool?
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of those, like, remember that, like, baking soda, I got baking soda song. Like, I think that probably turned some whites. And, because you don't really hear, like, rap songs about meth very much.
Nah.
Like, you'll hear crack anthems.
Yeah.
But you won't. Meth
is a white people crack.
It is the white people crack, but it's like, but I don't know. I think they're starting to like want to be with the culture. Like, if we're gonna do this, let's just go crack.
Yeah.
And now I think like, kind of you see the thing with Portland where when it's weed and it's things that like the minorities do, then it's kind of like whoa, like cut that shit out. Schedule 1. But if it's like something that like your kid has a problem with, like
opioids.
Yeah, like your kid gets like an injury and then they start taking prescription pain pills and then they get addicted and then they find out heroin's cheaper, then they start going fentanyl and then they start dying of opiates.
Yeah.
Now you're
that
like
heroin,
You're like, yo, my kid can be involved with this now, right? So that's when politicians get involved and people start rallying behind people. And I guess now with the switch lately, people feel like we need to have a safer way to smoke crack. And we can't just have people, especially in a pandemic.
Yeah.
People out here reusing needles and, like.
Well, but there's already been like needle exchange programs in place. Like that's already have existed.
But now Biden, I think the thing about it is like Biden has to sit down and have a long talk with himself and be like, this is what's going on in our country, and it could be my own son.
Yeah.
It could be Hunter Biden himself on a laptop with a crack pipe.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that everybody, like, even if my son, I could see him having problems, imagine people who don't have as much privilege as my son.
You think Hunter Biden's going to be the one designing the crack pipes?
I think so. He's like, this would be the most ideal crack pipe usage.
Yeah.
The most ideal crack pipe storage.
It'd be the one government job he'd be good at.
Honestly.
Yeah.
It'd be the one thing he, like, has on lock.
Yeah.
Like, that he actually has the credentials and stuff, like, to actually perform.
Yeah.
One that really isn't based on nepotism, but actually based on user experience.
Exactly.
And things like that,
Yeah.
It feels like the place where he needs to be. So, Biden and the administration, it's the headline for sure, but, like, there was a lot more in these kits, but in these kits are also crack pipes. So there are like clean needle things.
It sounds crazy.
It's also like needle, like sharp bags so that you can get rid of them. It's like cleaning stuff.
And like Charlamagne has said this, sorry to cut you off, but you can't get mad for people twisting the narrative if you put out a crazy ass narrative yourself.
Yeah.
Like the Democrats can't get mad if they just released it like that. Like ain't nobody out there like fact checking like, yo, this sounds wild. Let's clean this up a little bit. Like how it tells you like, hey bro, it ain't a trailer, it's a modular home. Yeah. You gotta clean it up, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah, or else you just sound wild.
Yeah.
You just sound like you live in a crazy thing. You have to basically say
it sounds like Biden's out there like, how's it going, young feller?
Yeah,
Like,
just literally out there handing out crack pipes one by one,
Yeah.
like Trump with that toilet paper in Puerto Rico.
yeah.
Scanning them up under underpasses,
Yeah, just-
under overpasses, just laying them all out. That'd be wild. So I don't know, man. Like it's hard because if you're admitting that we have a problem that can't be solved by taking things away from people,
Yeah.
then like
Especially when it comes to drug addicts.
So then what's the goal? If you're gonna come out here and hand out crack pipes and hand out this stuff, are you going to like change the laws to where when someone goes to jail for that, they go through certain programs in a different way?
Yeah.
Like it just
I never felt like a drug addict should go to jail. I think it should be more of like a rehab type. Like it's not necessarily jail, but you ain't going home. You're like
it's a
strictly
hard one
put
because
into
then, like,
rehab.
how do you if you catch somebody
Yeah.
with the drugs,
Yeah.
when are we like, oh, they can just say that they're a drug addict and they don't have to like deal with the consequences, or maybe they were trying to distribute, or maybe they were, you know what I mean?
Well, because see, when I feel like there's certain ways where like the police knows who's trying to distribute and who's like, if you got all this crack and they also find you with stacks of money and they also find you with crack making kids,
then it's a different.
then you know,
Yeah. Then there's like the charge of just with intent to sell or whatever.
right?
Like with weed, if you have it in two separate bags for any reason, it's automatically possession with intent to sell. Because why do you have it in two bags?
Right.
If you're personally just using it, you only need one bag. You know what I mean? So it's like shit like that. There is all that kind of stuff. If you find someone just actively using or something like that, like you catch somebody for like a. But the problem
You know
is,
what a crack user
but
looks
it's
like,
also
bro.
it's hard, dog. Because like, okay, they pull you over, you get a DUI, right?
Yeah.
Because you were driving under the influence.
Crackheads
of crack.
don't have cars, bro.
Oh, they would have sold it by now.
Yeah. Like crackheads don't even have teeth.
I don't know why I'm over here picturing sophisticated crackheads.
You can't be a sophisticated crackhead, bro. It's like
I'm assuming
you know,
I'm
like oil and
picturing a
water.
crackhead-
When you like put oil and water together and they like separate. Like
I'm picturing a crackhead that's got his life in order.
no, bro. You can be a functioning alcoholic, but you cannot be a functioning crack
You can't
addict.
be a functioning crackhead.
No.
Damn, dog.
If you would suck dick for it, you can't be a functioning that.
Can we quickly? I don't even know if this should be something we should be addressing. I know we're on this and we'll wrap this up, but did you see that the Isaiah Rashad thing?
No, what?
He started trending,
Okay.
and the reason he was trending
Not for his music?
was not for his music.
Oh, no.
What had happened was there was a leaked video somehow
Yeah.
that appeared to be showing Isaiah Rashad giving a guy head, like sucking a dick.
Oh, my God.
So like just actively just like going to town on this dick. It's just like he was doing this recreational.
Pause.
And that's never been addressed, never been talked about, it's never even been speculated. It's kind of hard to try to explain away in any way, shape, or form this, right?
Yeah.
Because you're actively doing it. Like, I almost think, if you're receiving it, you can try to hopscotch your way out of like maybe
mental gymnastics.
Yeah,
Your way out
you
of
can try, but if you're actively giving it, it's a real hard one, right?
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Pause.
And the thing that's been. It's a terrible way for anything like that to come out. Like Frank Ocean got to like put it in his art, and then when there was speculation, got to put out a whole letter that kind of explained his feelings.
Yeah.
Tyler got to like express his feelings on a song, and then just like never
address it.
Never actually address it, and just leave people wondering. But like, you're just performing. You're just doing like you've been putting out songs that are doing really good. Yeah, hitting like the playlist, hitting the charts and stuff. And then that just drops. Yeah. And like people are like, honestly, like, I guess he's gay. Yeah. Like,
I mean, it's weird because it's not in an era where like, it's not going to destroy your career.
But that's the thing is but it's like, does the music match? So like in this case, like McConan, it kind of fucked him up. Like McConan never really recovered from that. He got
I don't know who that is.
I Love McConan club going up on a Tuesday.
Oh, okay. He was gay?
Got signed to OVO, had the smash and everything. Then he gets taken off of OVO. Then it just apparently just gets announced that he's gay.
Whoa, is Drake a homophobe?
I don't know, dog. But it's just a weird one where you're like, and then like it didn't make his career better. It didn't help him. It didn't do anything for him. His career's just been dead since.
He should have just gone. He should have leaned into it.
That's what I'm saying. You can't just be gay-ish.
Yeah, you have to.
You gotta like Lil Nas X it.
Yeah, if you lean into it, then you'll really pop off.
Yeah, because then people feel like they gotta support you if they're on the other side or whatever. But
otherwise, you're
I don't
homophobe.
know if Isaiah Rashad addressed this or responded to it. Mm-hmm. Everyone's basically just saying, "Yo, don't let this affect how you listen to his music." That's crazy that someone had to get outed this way. Is
he trying to do the "it wasn't me" kind of thing? Or just like not talking about it.
Face, dog.
You saw the video?
I searched through Twitter to see if it was like to see what people were talking about, and then I watched like 3 seconds of it to verify, and then I dipped.
And then your homophobia kicked in.
I said I can't. I was like, nah. What point am I watching this for pleasure? Like what? There's a line between I'm watching this informationally for like educational purposes. And then, like, I actively am entertained by what I'm seeing right now. You know what I'm saying? So I had to have that internal talk to myself.
You were like, dude, 2 more seconds and I'm going to be full bricked up.
You know whenever when you're done peeing and you shake it? There's like a level. Yeah. I'm doing this because I have to, or like I'm doing this for fun now. You know what I'm saying? It's like that.
Oh, God.
It's like at what point is enough, right?
Damn.
I'm just saying.
How did we go from crack pipes to this?
Because you said if you suck dick for it, then you can't be a functioning member of society.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
And so it just had to bring me up to this.
Bro, did I ever tell the story how I was in the Tenderloin in San Francisco? So the Tenderloin is like a third world country within San Francisco where you have to watch where you step because you could walk into like human feces.
It's like
or
the Wild Wild West out there.
Heroin needles. Yeah, like you can see like little kids like 10 years old like smoking weed.
Okay.
It's crazy. And someone blew crack smoke in my face.
I think you did tell me about the crack smoke being blown into your face.
Bro, it's... I mean,
feel anything?
My grandpa smoked
crack.
No, cigarettes. No, my grandpa smoked cigarettes, so I know it's. I grew up smelling cigarettes my whole life. Growing up where I grew up, you learn what the smell of weed smells like. But this, dude,
dog, you can walk into your apartment.
I can, yeah. I mean now, it's different now than it was then.
Yeah,
and I think we can all agree on that too. Mm-hmm. You didn't used to just smell weed out and like
out and about. Now it's just like
okay, no, now people are wild, but regardless, bro, this smell, I was like, I've never smelled this in my life. What is this? And then I was like, well, it had to be crack.
Why did it have to be crack off rip?
Because the pipe was glass.
What if it was meth?
One of the two.
You're like, it's not making it any better.
Yeah, one of the two. It was like it's like this little tube. You could see, and then bro, there's like, it's crazy because I would see the crack man walking around.
Did you ever get approached?
No.
That's how you know, because they can spot them.
Yeah.
Like they can spot them. Like out in New York, I'm seeing like who's trying to like get something, who's like the old like homeless people around that I'm like, who's actually out here trying to like get stuff and who's actually like just trying to make it or like
who's actually just homeless.
Yeah. And you start seeing, and it's a crazy ecosystem.
Yeah.
It's a crazy ecosystem of like, you want to talk about the most like stereotypical and like looking at like, they're going to look at you and be like, you look like the type to either buy or sell or use.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're going to be profiled off rip.
Yeah.
As like, oh, you buy weed. Oh, you don't do anything. Oh, you're looking for crack. Or you're looking for cocaine.
Yeah.
Like, off rip, they're figuring this stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels very offensive when you get profiled.
You got
Especially
profiled
when they're correct.
You got profiled in New York.
No, it'll just happen sometimes. You'll just be like, either for like, I'll get profiled for like someone who either buys or sells weed. Like, and then the worst part is like people start learning and realizing that it's like there's like a thing about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like Alicia and I are walking together, and if she's slightly behind me and they see me walking, they assume she is like handling it.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of approaching me, they approach her.
Oh no.
And I'll be like, what the fuck is going on? I'm just walking the streets, dog.
Yeah.
Just let me enjoy myself.
Yeah,
Let
yeah,
me
yeah.
live life.
Yeah.
I'm not pushing.
Bro, I'm out here with my wife, bro.
Yeah, I'm not pushing stuff on the streets.
I ain't pushing Pete.
I get that in Houston, dog. I remember one time I was in the Heights. These whites be so fucking like, they be so
They're wild.
reckless with it.
Yeah.
I have Roman holding a backpack.
Uh-huh.
That just so really randomly, like if we're at a festival in the Heights, so you get free shit, you don't want to hold it, so you just throw it in the backpack, water bottle, whatever we might have in there, right?
Yeah.
And then my dad gives me something. He's like, "Can you put it in the backpack?" I say, "Yeah, no problem." Roman, hand me the backpack. I put it in there, hand it back to him. Someone comes up to me, "Hey, I see the whole backpack thing. Y'all selling weed?" These white people just openly coming up to us in the streets of the Heights in the daytime, asking if we like selling weed.
Bro, I'm at the farmer's market.
Yeah, bro. It's like, bro, I'm just looking for carrots, dog. Like, chill.
I'm out here buying my soaps, man. That's what I put in the backpack.
Yeah. And so sometimes I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Why do we get hit with this type of of attention like this? I'm not trying to bring that up.
Yeah.
But let's get into a few things here.
Yeah.
Everybody going to Coachella right now. I bet you there's two schools of people, and I wonder what the actual over under on like people who are there physically and actually care about this. Travis Scott was set to headline and got removed due to some circumstances pertaining to a festival that he had out here in Houston, I believe.
Allegedly.
And now they replaced him with Kanye. I don't know why they thought
it's not far enough.
I don't know why they thought, hey, let's take Travis Scott away because we don't want the like public backlash. So let's just bring Kanye, who always has public backlash.
But it's crazy the kind of public backlash that Kanye brings on himself, because it's like he could say all these crazy things, but he still has Balenciaga, Gap. He still has all these deals that you can't deny, that you're like, this guy's gonna bring us eyes and attention, and all. When it comes to Kanye, all press is good press.
Yeah, and he's like doing most of the press and stuff.
Yeah.
So he decides that in his performance he's gonna bring Travis Scott out.
Yep.
But he doesn't just surprise people, he does a press run about it, basically, letting people know that he's gonna have Travis Scott out there. So I don't know what.
Honestly, bro, I think conspiracy hat on.
Uh-huh.
I think Coachella was like, yo, let's figure out a way to still have Travis Scott on that doesn't make us look bad. Let's bring in Kanye. Kanye,
and then he gets to do whatever he wants. We can't control what Kanye does.
Yeah.
So they do this, and I don't know why Travis Scott why Kanye had to find somebody to like fight with about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he wasn't getting enough backlash online about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if him just saying that he's going to have Travis Scott performing wasn't getting enough attention.
He needed to control more of his narrative.
So
it wasn't getting out of hand. So
he just attacked Billie Eilish for some reason.
Yeah.
Because Billie Eilish went on.
She sneak dissing, bro.
But was it though? I don't know if like I want to hear tone. I want to hear if she had said it true. Like,
because if you just read it, it's a sneak diss.
It just says someone, which makes it seem like, yo, your crowd's a bunch of nerds. First of all,
yeah.
Will you stop your show to give one of your fans an inhaler?
Like, but it also sounds like she handed him the inhaler.
Yeah.
Did she?
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. Because I'm like, why she have the inhaler?
I mean, she probably got asthma too, dog.
Well, but it's like prescription wise. Like your inhaler ain't the same as my inhaler.
Really?
Yeah, it's a whole prescription.
Not only that, do you have an inhaler or what?
No, but like my wife's a nurse.
But like not only that, COVID.
Yeah, the vid. Is
Like
she a super spreader?
You just passing your germed inhaler to somebody.
Yeah.
You could be giving someone COVID who may then pass it to their family.
Yeah. Then he had to use the inhaler with a mask on, or else it ain't kosher.
Exactly. So.
And how much is that really doing?
So that's what apparently happens, and what she says is, I stopped my show to make sure everybody's all right, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But if she would have been like, I stopped my show to make sure everybody's all right, or if she just goes like, yo, I just like to stop my show to make sure everybody's all right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like I do that. Some people, like, that's what it sounds like. It with the headline read makes it, and I only read the headline after Kanye attacked her, so you're only putting them, you're parlaying them together,
right?
So I don't truly understand. I don't know if Billie Eilish needed to be hit by the stray bullet to this.
No, hold on, bro. Ye needs a white girl to beef with,
but she just folded.
But remember Taylor?
Taylor would at least fight back.
Yeah, but I think he was trying to see if Billie Eilish would fight back.
So I guess, does he realize that it's us versus white women right now? And so he's just like looking for the white women to attack because, I mean, who else is really who else is on Coachella? Also, why is he making it seem like he's putting everything on her, where like,
oh yeah, he was like, I ain't performing unless she apologizes. And it was like, yo, you're putting all this in my hands. I got to go make this weird ass public statement for you. Did she actually do it?
All she said was, I never attacked Travis. That's literally all she said. She's like, I literally never attacked Travis. I never said anything about Travis. That's like what she said.
Oh, okay. Then the tone was, I just like to stop my show.
Yeah, that's what she said. She was like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I literally didn't say shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, that's all she said.
Nice.
So, I mean, okay.
Who are the big headliners?
The big headliners are Harry Styles, Billie Eilish, and Ye for each one of the days. Mm-hmm. So, like, I guess Harry Styles, I guess he didn't want to fight with Harry.
Nah.
Because Harry got hands. I feel like Harry got shooters.
Probably.
Or knifers, because they're from the UK.
Yeah. Allegedly, after that Coachella show, Brockhampton's done.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you feel like they made a big enough impact? Because I don't know. Like, sure, they're kind of like, yeah, they have like cult classics, good albums that people like to listen to, but like, I don't know the hit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Like, you'd have to be in the
You're not just gonna be like,
you're
not gonna be like that song.
Yeah.
And do you think that that's the reason they're kind of like, all right, we did what we needed to do for our fans and stuff,
and then like now it's time everybody go their separate ways,
and everybody be able to do their own things, and maybe we'll individually have hits.
Yeah, but which is, I mean, hey, they lasted longer than Odd Future.
I mean, that's for sure. Did you hear Earl Sweatshirt's most recent album?
I haven't yet.
He put an album out called Shit.
I know.
Did you listen to the interview that he did for that with Apple Music and Zane Lowe?
I started it. I got like 2 minutes in, and I was like,
he talks so fucking weird now. He doesn't talk like the same person.
That's why he was like sounding weird. So I was like, whatever.
I don't know what's going on. He looks weird. Like I don't know. Like, Tyler looks pretty now.
Yeah.
And Earl looks...
He just looks homeless.
And it's weird how this made me look a lot about, like, what are you supposed to do with the fame that you're given? Like, with the platform that you're given, where do you go and take it from there? Yeah. Because you saw all of them pretty much had the same...
like, playing field.
Yeah, and then you see what Jasper did. Jasper's on Jackass Forever. Yeah. Like, he went
then, like, Taco started acting.
Yeah, and producing or whatever he does. And then, like, Tyler, you see all the crazy shit Tyler did. Yeah. And then Earl, who was, like, the person that you would look at the most for lyricism, was, like... Right. You would say the guy. That he was a better rapper than Tyler. Tyler was just, like, more, like, of that personality or whatever. Yeah. And then just Earl went in a way different direction. Mm-hmm. And... and then you see what Sid did and all that. Like, you see that they like did cool things with the internet and stuff like that. And it just makes me wonder, like, why? Because it's all intentional. Mm-hmm. So, like, I don't know if you saw Aziz Ansari put out a special kind of recently.
Yeah. Um, I've seen clips of it. I want to watch the whole thing, and I love Aziz, but I just.
Is it where like, at least for me, you've discovered better talent?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Like, you've just discovered better people, and so now you're kind of like,
I've
look,
discovered better Indians, and now I'm like, I don't know, man.
So like with and this is gonna tie me into the reason I even brought this up is like when Frank Ocean takes a break for a while, Drake seems a little more enticing to me. Mm-hmm. But once Frank's back, I could give a fuck about what Drake's doing.
Yeah,
and he Aziz was actually having this was telling a story or telling a joke about having a conversation with Frank Ocean. Mm-hmm. He saw him at like a party or something like that, and he was like, "Bro, how do you do it, man? Where like you only put music out when you want to, you know, like you only do things that you really want to do, like everything that you do is like on your time and like how you want to do it. Like how do you like in this type of industry and stuff like that? Like how do you do that?" He's like, "You just got to be cool making less money." And then he goes, "Whew." And it's like, I don't know about that one.
yeah.
And so that's what the thing about it is where you really start thinking about your priorities. And like Frank doesn't really seem to like be looking for like the biggest payday. And that, like, it's just like, this is like, I know where my talents are. I know what I want to do. I know how I want to live my life. And Tyler was kind of like, I want to be like, when he was talking about like in interviews, he was telling people from the beginning when they were all probably just like fucking around doing things like we are. And he was saying like, I'm going to get a Grammy.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the biggest artist in the world.
Yeah.
I'm going to do all these crazy
He had the ambition.
He had the mind that that's what my goal is. It's not to just be small.
And, you know, you could have the talent, you could have the platform, but if the ambition's not there, it's like, what are you even going to do with it?
And he was like there in school. That's all he thought about, all he wanted to do.
Yeah. Mind you, Earl was mad young when they started. So, like.
Also, in a really weird time in his life, like, you hear the whole thing about him going away.
Yeah.
And when Odd Future is going to brand it like, yo, they took my boy, free my boy, and make it seem like it was something crazy. But in interviews, he was like, yo, I was just fucking up in life. Mm-hmm. He's like, on some separate, like, because everyone's like, is it because all the demonic music? Like, no. Separate from, like, my art, I was fucking up in life. And you tell his mom's, like, a very smart, well-educated, well-spoken woman. And she's like, I'm not going to have him doing this wild shit. Not probably necessarily like being wild artistically, but like not understanding where he comes from, not understanding his culture, not understanding these things probably, and sending him away to be like, you need to really engulf yourself in this. And I truly think that's what kind of opened his eyes, changed him to a lot of things, and redirected where he wanted to go and why he wanted to do what he was doing. And I think that may have opened his eyes a lot to like life and people and the world and stuff like that. So I think that was a big change in what made him who he is today. And then whatever the fallout between him and Tyler was at first, because at first he was out of Odd Future.
Yeah.
And then like they were cool again, but it was never the same. And it wasn't like, it wasn't like when Frank came on and did those songs on Flower Boy and stuff like that. And he's coming and doing that stuff, like performing, like you're not getting that stuff from Tyler and Earl. Mm-hmm. And I don't really know what all that is.
They'll just like post about each other's albums.
Yeah. Which makes it seem like, yo, we're going to still support you. But I think they're just on to different shit now. Like, I just think they're on different things.
I think it's like that forever bond will always be there. You know, like they'll always be cool on some level.
Yeah.
But, you know, you just like, you know. I feel like old high school friends or like old college friends where you're like, yo, we were cool at one point, so I'm glad you're doing that. Shouts out. But I'm not actively like calling
in your life
you,
and stuff. Also because people just change as people. Like, I don't know how somehow like I've noticed our trajectory of what we've been into, our interests have always been parallel. Mm-hmm. So even whenever we weren't hanging out and talking and like keeping up to date every time, we were still parallel. Yeah. So like I remember I'd be watching like Hassan Minaj's whatever the thing is he had on Netflix.
Patriot Act?
Yeah. And I'd be watching that. I would like, you're in your bubble where you think you're the only one who's really into that. And you're like all this stuff. And then I'd go on to Instagram and like see you post a story of you watching it too. And I'm like, okay, so he on that shit too. Yeah. And then I'd be like, man, I really like these shoes. This is crazy. And I go and you'd be like, yo, these shoes are fucking wild. I'm like, okay, so our interests have maintained parallel even though we're not involved with each other. But with a lot of other people, that's not the case. They're all into these different things. You realize like you'll like go back and you're like, oh, they're like a real diehard Trump supporter, and they're like listening to country music, and they're definitely not on the shit that we were on when I first knew them.
Yeah,
they're a different person now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They've grown up and become what they feel is them.
Yeah,
but like that's what you start seeing for a lot of people. Like a lot of people, they don't end up in that same place.
Right.
So
where it's like, because I think about like the people we used to skate with, right? Like skateboarding brought us all together. We were all into that thing.
And in that culture, there was a lot of like subcultures.
And then like people like go away from it. You know, you either stay in it or you either just like life, so you can't do it anymore. But like I think about like you and Ruben, and it's like, I mean, we stayed friends because we were friends. You could take skateboarding out of it, and we would still be friends.
Yeah,
you know, we didn't need that as the crutch to the friendship.
For a lot of other people, like there was a lot of other people where I'm like, I don't like this person, but we're just skating together. Like this is just what we do.
Yeah, right. You
know what I mean? But like,
exactly.
I don't really. It's like a team. Like you don't have to like everybody on the team, but y'all are a team.
Right.
You know, and I feel like that's kind of how it was back then. It's like, well, this is our group. These are the group of people that skate in our school.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, these are who you hang out with.
So it's like you either skate by yourself or you're skating with these people. And, yeah.
So it's like, because you could not hang out with them, but you're going to go to a spot and they're going to be at the spot.
Yeah.
Or you can pull up to that park and they're going to pull up to that park. So might as well let's all be cool and ride together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, and I see that. I've seen like those people and I'll be like, oh, okay, so what are y'all on now? And sometimes I'll be like, okay, we would probably still be friends if we hung out now. Yeah. But sometimes I'll be like, oh, y'all are on like whole different things. You have a family now. Like you want some other shit.
You got like 3 kids.
Yeah. Like you ain't got time to be doing nothing other than taking care of them kids.
Yeah.
So it's just weird to see that in the eye. Like you got to see them grow up. You got to see Odd Future grow up before our eyes and got to see them become who they are. Like you got to see Tyler when he says he fully went through the puberty switch. His Cherry Bomb sounded so odd because he's going through like his change in life and then where it takes him. Yeah. And you see everybody do that shit and you're like, that's crazy to have been able to see that growth.
Right.
So it's cool, but...
And then like, I think if you keep the group going, then you hit like a really weird spot where it's like, who are you doing this for?
Yeah, like, are we just forcing this now? It doesn't seem authentic.
Like, I hate to say it because I do like Wu-Tang, but they're that kind of group, you know?
Yeah, but do you think it's also
we've kept it going for so long that what are we going to do? Call it quits now?
Yeah, what are we going to break up? Like, we've done the impossible at this point.
Yeah. But they still put out albums and no one really listens to them. And so it's like, what do you want to do?
And I feel like it's the same thing with like bands.
Yeah.
Like certain bands, I'm like, why are y'all still
a band?
Yeah, like y'all don't even like each other no more, do y'all?
You said this about a band, and I don't know if I want to put you out like this.
I've said this about a lot of bands where basically my thought about it is...
But you said this about a very classic band that I think your dad would hate you if you said this.
What did I say?
Do you really want me to put
me on blast?
Metallica.
What about them?
You said, why are they still a band? They should just break up.
So here was my thought, because now it's changed, right? So Metallica up until the Black Album. Yeah. And then after that, I was like, why the fuck are y'all a band still? Like, why are y'all doing this? Mm-hmm. Like, who are you doing this for?
Right.
They have, of course,
because your hardcore fans aren't on those other albums. They're all on these albums.
Yeah. And so then I see them do that stuff, and I'm like, dude, it's just looking sad. But then I think they took some time, pivoted, and now I kind of feel like there's like it makes more sense now. Like last album that they put out,
there's room for them to be a band again.
Part of me feels that way. Part of me kind of now feels like I'm holding on to them as like the last one. Mm-hmm. I got to see them live, and that was cool. Mm-hmm. And they still performed well, and they performed with bands that I respected. So I'm like, maybe we can still let y'all do some stuff for a little bit and see how it goes. Yeah, let's see how it goes. So I recant my statement.
For a little bit, they've been going since like the 80s. What do you mean?
No, I'm saying we still got a little life expectancy. They got still a little time. We're going to see.
It's been 2 decades.
We're going to give them an album or so. They're on the clock for sure. We're going to see. We're going to see how things go now. But I think we got enough. We had some fun.
That's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
So come back next week. Quickly, if you haven't already, make sure that you're subscribed or added the show to whatever you're listening to. Make sure that you hit that like.
Make sure you go find us on our Patreon. No, I'm just kidding. We don't have a Patreon.
But go ahead and click that share button and send it to somebody who you think would find this interesting.
Yeah. Share it,
catch
subscribe.
you next week.
We out here saying wild things, all allegedly, all for funsies.
Yep.
All for the
Allegedly
jokes.
podcast.
Don't take us seriously. Please don't take us seriously.
Please don't. That'd be so crazy if people try to take us seriously.
We are a comedy podcast. We're here to have fun, make fun of the harder things in life. And
Pause.
Well, pause. And don't hit us with the you can't make fun of blah, 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 blah. You can make fun of anything, man.
Honestly. So we're going to be out here talking reckless, talking to you specifically.
We love y'all.